Okay, cool. All right. Uh, Good morning, everyone, or good evening, based on where you are. In this call, um, we wanted to go over a update that we have done to the flip process, and basically, we are introducing issues to track flips, and that's what we wanted to show you, demo to you, and then also talk through it. Yeah, so the agenda is basically just go over quickly over what a flip is, then talk to you about why we are making this change, what's the real motivation of making this change, then talking through the new process, showing a quick demo, and then saving some time at the end for question and answers. So for everyone who doesn't know, Flow Flip is basically the flow improvement proposal. This is the main repo to post any flips, github.com on flow/flips. And of course, the flips can be basically all change on the flow protocol, governance, cadence, or application side needs to go through a flip. And a flip is completely community driven, where anyone is where anyone can submit a flip and basically rally for the change to the protocol. So that's the flip process. Now coming to the why we wanted to make the change. So the main reason of making this change is to enable real-time monitoring of flips. So right now, all the flips are kind of basically added through pull requests. So there are these pull requests that gets created for every flip. But what happens is that it's very difficult to understand how many flips are outstanding or what are the flips that are outstanding. And someone has to actually go through all the pull requests to kind of get a sense of what's happening. And then it also kind of has this issue where someone might create a pull request for a same flip that has already been worked upon or something similar that's worked upon. So there is this lack of awareness right now with the current process. And on the similar line, it also kind of doesn't helps in keeping all the stakeholders informed. And by stakeholders, I mean everyone in the community, uh, like the Flow Foundation team, maybe the marketing team that we have. So we wanted a process that would kind of keep everyone informed as the flip kind of process through uh, the flips kind of flow through the pipeline. Uh, so that's why we wanted to make this change, and we did kind of played with different solutions. Like we tried using an Excel sheet to kind of track everything, and then ask the author to kind of update that Excel sheet, but we found like that process could be a little more laborious. So we wanted a process that's like very easy to work with for the author, whoever is proposing the flip, while still we kind of get the benefits of what we want regarding the management side of things. So that's how we kind of settled in this. That's how we settled in this solution of using the GitHub project to kind of manage this, and then using GitHub issues to kind of track flips. So that's the main change here. So this is the original flip process as it stands today. So there are these 5 steps: ideation, authoring, submitting the flip, followed by community discussion, and then the post flip of actually implementing it. So what you see in red is actually what has changed. So we are introducing this extra step where the author has to now go create an issue before the flip PR is created. So every flip must have an issue, and the issue number is what should be the flip number. What happens because of the issue is that we can then track, or anyone can track the flip through the GitHub project that has been created. And then the other change is the sponsor of the flip just has to make sure that he or she updates the status of the flip issue as it kind of flows through the pipeline. So let me quickly now show you a quick demo. Okay, so this is the flip repo, and I've added, like we've updated the steps here, basically for creating the flip. So it now has this additional step where it says create an issue. And the way to do it is basically you go to an issue, and then hit new issue. And then there's a template for each type of the flip. So let's say we do a governance flip. So you go to governance flip, and now just put in the title of the flip here. For example, and you just hit submit. So what will now happen is this flip will automatically get, this flip will now automatically get added to the flips tracker project. And very soon the assignee will also change to the person who has created this issue. So what this helps with is basically, if you go to projects, you will see that there is this new project, flips tracker. Okay, so if you go to this flips tracker project, you will see all the flips here, and the new one should also appear here. And if I go back to the issue, it'll also have the assignee assigned to that issue. So what this helps with is everyone can see this dashboard or this board view if they want, and they can see what are the issues in different stages of the pipeline, and also the issues are labeled accordingly. So the big change here is the ask to basically create an issue for every flip. Also, if you see the issue, once it's created, it gets an issue number. So the other ask is, let's use this issue number as the title of the as the number of the flip. So if I go back to the issue, if I go back to the flip process, here you will see that I created an issue, and then after this, it's kind of follows the same process, um, where someone creates this template, with where someone creates the actual flip, and the ask is that once you are filling out the issue template, the flip template, just make sure to use the flip number as the number of the issue. So in this case, it will be 185, and then everything else kind of stays the same. Yeah, go back to my slide deck. So again, TLDR of what has changed. The ask now is that the author of the flip creates an issue before the flip PR has been created, and then the issue number actually becomes the flip number. And all of this has been documented in the new process. I'll stop here for question and answers. And that's the repo that's basically the flip repo. Any questions, folks? Oh, and also, Kshitij and I actually went back to all the previous flips, and we actually created issues for all the flips. So all the flips that have existed till today, they have now an issue assigned to it. So we have kind of like grandfathered this process already. Yeah, that's what I wanted to demo today and make sure that everyone is aware of this. I know there are a lot of other open questions about Flip. One is about one is about Flip voting, and then I would also wanted to talk about Meta Flip, but maybe I was hoping to have that conversation in a separate call. Yeah, go ahead, Jan.
Is the repo with flips open to anyone? Can anyone open issue, or what are the permissions?
Yeah, so you just have to have a GitHub account, and then you can basically open up an issue.
Okay, so anyone with a GitHub account can open a flip. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
Go ahead, Dennis.
What will be the discussion place Like we will discuss in the issues, or like we will discuss in the PRs, or we will discuss in the forums? Because now like we had like two places, it was confusing. Now like we
Yeah.
have also issues. It's
No,
little
no,
getting.
that's a good question. So the issue is just for tracking. We totally discourage having any discussion in the issue. It's just like a placeholder to help track the flip movement, because a flip generally like involves a lot of PRs. It's not just single PR. So that's why again we didn't wanted to use PR to track the flip. So the issue is just for tracking, no discussion at all. The discussion stays on the forum post. That's the primary area of discussing flip.
That's a good question, though. Maybe we can add that to the README, Vishal, just
Agreed.
where we have the managing community discussion part. Maybe we can just like point everyone to a single place where the discussion should be held.
Makes sense. Yeah.
And
We'll add that.
I just wanted to kind of add, I think mostly the discussion actually does not have, at least from my experience, is a discussion on most flips actually happens on the PR itself. There might be some exceptions that I haven't seen, but I haven't seen many forum posts. Like at least for Cadence Flip, for example, I think pretty much every discussion was in the PR itself. Just kind of throwing it out there. In a way, I think when we talked about this before with the Cadence team, at least, I think we felt like the author or the sponsor of the flip should maybe clarify in when they open the flip when they where they want to have this discussion. If they had a linking forum post, they should clarify that. But I would not restrict that. Like I would not enforce that by like a README, and that says, "Hey, have the discussion here." To be honest, why not leave it to the author of the flip to say, "Hey, I want all discussion in this or here or there." I don't
Yeah.
think we need to be prescriptive. Daniel.
Yeah, I just wanted to add there are a lot of advantages to having the discussion on the flip. Discussion on the flip can directly point to specific lines of text in the document, like via like a one of the GitHub comments that gets like associated with a specific area of the like the file. It's more immediate. You don't have to have two separate links where you reference the text of the flip with the discussion on it. It's all in one place. So I don't know. I think I get the feeling that the Cadence flip process is slightly unusual compared to other flips, just because like the way that you've characterized it as like, oh, lots of flips that don't happen in a single PR, whereas the Cadence, the way things have always kind of gone for Cadence is it is just one PR where it gets iterated on until it's done and then either rejected or accepted. So I'm just giving a perspective that
Yeah. No,
is
makes sense.
that way.
Yeah, I like the idea of what Jan suggested, which is the author can take the call whether he wants to shepherd the discussion in the forum post or on the PR itself, and maybe just call out in as part of like the flip proposal where the discussion should take place. I think I'll add that as a point in the README as well. Cool. And there are also some open questions like flip voting, like which flips should we take to voting and which flips we don't want to take to voting. For example, like the Cadence flip, obviously the PR is kind of like the voting process where everyone kind of converges to what should be done. But for the other ones, we probably do want a voting, and we also need to like list out how to decide whether to take it to vote or not. And then the other thing that I wanted to suggest, maybe we don't have to like answer this now, but do you guys think that we need like something what Ethereum has, which is like a meta EIP, something like that, which is like a meta flip, which is a change to this process, change to the flip process itself. So right now it's kind of unilateral where we just doing the change to the process, but in the future even a change to the flip process should go through a flip, and we'll have a separate category for it called meta flip.
Yeah, I don't
Uh,
see why not. Yeah, maybe just say in the README that hey, changes to this process are subject to a flip that is gonna change this process. Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
makes sense. I think it makes sense to have a section that says how to change this process or what you should do to change it or propose a change, and it's basically the same flip, and then that changes the process itself.
Yeah, like so, exactly. I'll have a fifth category called meta or something. Cool. I guess since we have time, I can also show you a little quick on how this looks from the back end. So if I look at the project, this is what everyone will be able to see, like the different views. But then in addition, people who have like write access to this repository can also like see these charts. So this is kind of also helpful in tracking how the flips are progressing. And the other one thing that we will be doing soon is adding a new label called like marketing or something of that effect, which lets you kind of add a new label to the issue itself. And it's not the author that needs to do it. Like we can do it, like Kshitij or me or anyone who else who's kind of a sponsor maybe. And that label will be like label called marketing. And that will let the Flow Foundation marketing team know that this flip needs additional marketing effort. Yeah, go ahead, Dennis.
One thing also about the sponsor. Even I don't have the idea that what is the sponsor in the flip process. Also, maybe we can like little bit clarify that in the README or somewhere. Like for example, if somebody new comes and like wants to make a flip to the flow, like what is the state of sponsor actually?
So we did add a blurb for it here. So a sponsor is basically ones who advocates for the proposed design, guiding the flip to adhere the existing design and style. And then now, finally, it has also this additional responsibility of updating the status. But it's someone like the way I view sponsor is like it's someone who's like more involved in the community and kind of backs this flip and makes sure that it kind of goes through all the stages.
Like maybe we can like say that like for example governance flips, these people are like can be sponsors, or like in this other part these can be it feels like somebody is like proposing and they need to find a sponsor, but like it's like they don't know like how to make it.
Yeah, would it help if we have like a table of like for governance flip, these could be the sponsor, for protocols flip, these could be the sponsor, and then basically list out a few names of folks who have been active on the flip process. Okay, we'll add that table somewhere under here. Cool. Any other questions? Okay, if not, then thank you, folks. Thanks for joining. Take care. Have a nice day.
Thanks, Michelle. Bye.
Likewise, guys. Bye bye.
Bye.